My ex was deeply wounded in his childhood. His dad had an affair on his mom. He left to be with the affair partner, and they're still together to this day. My ex found out about the affair and told his mom. His mom never truly got over it. Due to his snitching, his dad, who he adored up until this point, cut all contact with him. His mom used him as a therapist. He grew up hyper-independent and started our relationship stating that he absolutely would not tolerate cheating. The beginning of our relationship was really great. We were good at communicating. The sex was incredible. We went on a lot of dates, adopted a dog, moved in together. Then he got a little distant. I chalked it up to work and him just feeling a little overwhelmed by the big moves we made together, despite him saying he wanted nothing more than to settle down. Then I'd catch him in a white lie or two. But he'd say he was planning a surprise. He would get mad at me for checking his location that he offered to share. He stopped wanting sex. One day, he didn't come home. I sat him down and told him that this relationship was either going to be mended or it was done. The next day, he went to work and didn't come back. So I texted him that his stuff would be on the lawn. When he came by to get his stuff, he was clearly distraught. I felt bad and let him come inside to see our dog. When he left, he would text and call to say he missed me. He wrote me letters, sent me flowers. I finally asked if he wanted to try again, and he said yes. Our relationship 2.0 was amazing. We took trips. COVID made it so we got to spend a ton of time together, and it was great. We got along, had great sex, watched movies, planned the future. He proposed 4 months after getting back together. I was hesitant, but didn't want to say no, as marriage was something I eventually wanted, so I figured we'd have a long engagement. We started planning our wedding just to get an idea of what we wanted. Then COVID let up, and I went back into the office. His schedule as a healthcare worker made it so we only really saw each other in passing. He got laid off, and in a depressed stupor, he just laid around the house while I worked, cooked, and cleaned. He eventually got hired again and had a month before his start date. In this time, he wanted to get the most out of life before working a lot. So we went on lots of little trips. A day trip here, 2 days there. He never really invited me as I had work, and he just figured I'd need to be home to take care of the dog. Of course, our sex life faltered, and he stopped updating me while he was out because he was just so busy. I again asked him to sit down with me so I could give him the same talk as last time, but he couldn't even find the time to do that. He would just tell me over text the obvious, that our relationship wasn't doing well, that I wasn't communicating. I told him to break up with me, and he refused. His friend who I had met, who had recently gotten married and was helping me, prior to all this, with wedding planning, had been kept up to date on my ex's travels. One day, my ex was in the city and I got a message from his friend stating that my ex forgot to take him off his private story and had posted a photo with a woman. I immediately grabbed his laptop to try to log in to see his story and was greeted by a text thread with his girlfriend. They had apparently met on his first outing and he had gone to her house every outing since. They were saying, "I love you." She was joking about marriage. He told her that he was single. I told his friend who had clued me into the story he had posted, and we went out to get drinks. He invited their other mutual friend, who broke the news that my ex was on Tinder a while ago while we were together, and that he had told girls he was single when they went out. The friend just assumed we had broken up. I ultimately threw his crap out on the lawn again. When confronted, he denied everything and asked to talk. When I refused, he said he was going to call the cops for kicking him out. He never did, but for months after he demanded the rent back for the month he was kicked out, he recently went public with his relationship with his girlfriend. The community reacts a little. 50 Shades of Naz starts us off. Apple ain't fall far from the tree in this case. Look at the bright side. You won't have to deal with a cheating a-hole anymore and you can live your life now, OP. Congrats. Bubbly Fennel 7113 chimes in next. To me it sounds like he probably cheated the first time around too, just never got caught or back to you. If I was you, if you haven't already, I would send a message to the new girlfriend letting her know he was engaged at the time they started seeing each other with proof, just to put the truth out there so she can decide what to do with the reality of the situation being clear. I've always believed if they're willing to cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. Oh, and block his unremorseful lying butt on every form of communication because with the threats and other manipulation tactics, he's proven he doesn't even deserve to have the option to have any further contact with you. I've Done the Work also has a thought. Being cheated on or being affected by cheating can have the effect of actually producing infidelity. Much of infidelity is counterintuitive and simply makes no sense at all, until we put in sufficient effort to actually research it. Our gut logic is not logic in infidelity at all. Excerpt from a web article. Similarly to having been a cheater, having been cheated on may cause someone to be more inclined to cheat in the future. Not everyone who's had a partner cheat will react this way, but the feelings of distrust that arise can cause problems. Many people who cheat feel unworthy of love, and do anything they can to sabotage their relationships, and are not aware of their own actions and how they may disrupt the flow of relationships. Life coach Nina Rubin, M.A., tells Bustle. They may have also been cheated on and have grown accustomed to this way of behaving. If they're dealing with this reaction, they may be more likely to cheat. You can find the article by copy-pasting it into the web search bar. The first sentence worked well. His past experience with infidelity was so personal and close to home, he himself felt as if he was cheated on as well. In fact, he was. Cheating does not only affect the one cheated on, it reverberates all throughout the extended family. I don't understand how people can put others through what they had seen destroy a family before. Like he knew what it had done to him and his parents growing up. Why would he want to do that to someone else and be the cause of the hurt? Obviously, he has some issues. Maybe he's just feeding his ego and that hurt little boy inside him. Like the saying, hurt people? You'd think that by seeing the damage done in the past, he wouldn't want to do that again. I guess the not feeling worthy of love thing makes sense. But then why not just leave that person? Sounds like he wouldn't tolerate someone else cheating on him. But if he's the one doing the cheating, it's fine. How does that make sense? Let me know in the comments below. Next, we can't let our burdens become our children's burdens. My father, who financially supports me for my college studies, cheated on my mom, and she wants me to do something. I found out a few days ago when my mom called crying and saying all this. I didn't know how to react. My father had an affair when I was in school, and I've always stood up against him. But now that I've grown up and I own two of them equally dear to me, it's hard for me to say anything. He might be a scum, but I don't know what he will feel hearing anything bad from me at this age, 49. My mom wants me to fight for her, but I'm financially held by my dad. I live alone and I'm studying in college. All my funding is done by my father. I, 21 male, feel anger, sadness, disappointment. I know they'll die someday anyway, but I'm of the same blood. I'm afraid I'll do the same mistakes my father did and I'll ruin my child's life. I'm just so lost. I don't even want to go back home on semester breaks. Thank you for listening to me. Our first reaction from the community comes from Quahog 1945. It's between your parents. You're entitled to be disappointed in him and angry with him, but you're not responsible to solve this. Affectionate Ad 5373 says, and it's 100% wrong of your mother to try and put you in the middle. Lump Butt Cat says, you can love both your mother and your father. It does not mean that loving them both is a slight against the other. It's also okay to truly love your father, disapprove of his actions, and not respect him as a man. It's also okay to tell them both how you feel. I can tell you as a father, there would be nothing more painful than to hear this from my son. Yikes, OP. This is a tough place to be. Your dad definitely has the upper hand, but I think there are ways to confront your dad about it without getting heated about it, or just stay out of it. It's between your mom and dad, not you. I think it's a lot for your mom to ask for you to take sides. What do you think OP should do? Up next, frenemies. My friend is cheating on her boyfriend with the guy I like. So I started working at a BPO industry and I met this guy and I'm starting to like him or to fall in love with him, which is kind of funny since someone told me building a relationship in a BPO industry is considered traumatizing because of cheating. I never believed that someone, and right now I'm kind of second guessing everything. So back to when I met this guy and we instantly clicked with each other. We would always greet each other whenever we would run with each other at the halls. We would talk with each other in our break time, lunch, or any of our free time. We will even hang out after our shift. So after a month of hanging out with him, I start to like him and I tell my friend everything. How we met, how I'm starting to like him. I've even asked for advice. Tragedy comes for me, I failed my training, and I had to be on leave for 2 weeks because the company is reprofiling me to another department, only to come back and know from my other teammates that my friend and the guy I like is hanging out. The guy I like confessing that he likes my friend entertaining him, and is secretly going on dates with him after their shift ended, all while telling me how she supports me. They're only friends, and that she really loves her boyfriend, but is planning to break up with him for the guy I like. Right now, I'm starting to move on and focus on my work. Not like we had anything going on, though, but it still hurts. And I still don't know whether to tell her boyfriend that his girlfriend is cheating on him or not. Or how I would even reach out to him because I barely know the guy, I only saw him once. Edit. Just to make it clear, the guy doesn't know that she's in a relationship. She's pretty much kept it a secret and only told me and some of our teammates. Another edit. I tried confessing to him before all the drama of my friend going places with him, but she pretty much stopped me and said, I should let him make the first move because it's unladylike for me to make a move first. Bensel McPrush from the community starts off the reactions. If you would get involved with the girl who's in a relationship, then the guy sucks. No character, no morals. Walk away from this mess. You don't want to spend your life looking over your shoulder, wondering in fear if he's cheating. Also, throw away the entire friend. She's not your friend. And tell her boyfriend what she's been up to. Giag27 upvotes the last comment. She's no friend, and he's not the guy for you. Tell her boyfriend, block and delete both of them and move on. Public Particular 464 adds, tell the boyfriend, she isn't your friend if she did that behind your back. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Drop her too. If she finds out you told her boyfriend, you tell her you shouldn't have been a snake in the grass behind my back. JoeFo89 thinks, burn the witch's life to the ground and piss on the ashes. Not only did she betray her boyfriend, but she betrayed you in a horrible way as well. She was never really your friend because real friends would never think of doing what she did. And by a consequence of her own actions, she has become your enemy, and mercy to your enemy is cruelty to yourself. So definitely tell your boyfriend everything, and also tell the guy about what she did and how your ex-friend is a liar and a cheat. If he still wants to associate with her, well then you're probably better off without him anyways, and you would have dodged 2 bullets for the price of 1. Yeah, if this guy is willing to be in a relationship with someone who is already in a relationship, what's to like? Move on. And some friend this is, why would she try something when you told her you liked him? Cut them both. Thoughts? Meanwhile, lastly, people let you see what they want you to see. Why does my ex-boyfriend, who I was with for 5 years, treat his new girlfriend of 4 or 5 months better than he treated me? This is actually very confusing to me. I'm not the type of person who will stalk people on social media, but I couldn't help notice that my ex-boyfriend was doing all the activities that I wanted to do with him with his new girlfriend. I've always done everything for him to make him happy. I gave him everything he needed. I'm trying to think of a reason why he all of a sudden treats his new girlfriend, who he cheated on me with by the way, better than he treated me. I'm starting to doubt myself if I did enough, if I'm the problem, and I'm trying to find a reason so that I can move on. Any help or advice is welcome. Well, you know the community loves to offer advice. Plant Hammer says, my only advice is don't believe everything you see on social media. Things are almost always not what they seem. DOP replies, he took her to Dubai though. That literally left me speechless because I've been asking him to go for over 2 years. Classic Kirby of Stars says, he is showing his best side to her until she lets her guard down. Either way, move on. He proved you were a basic option. Find someone who treats you better than the standard you set. You're not the problem and you shouldn't compare your relationships. And don't believe everything you see. That's the best piece of advice. Social media is fake. People only post what they want you to see on there. That doesn't mean he is living it up with this woman. Anybody who has to post things on there to prove something is lying to themselves. Don't try to think of the whys. You'll drive yourself crazy. A relationship should be mutual. Don't let people walk all over you, and don't waste your time or energy on someone who isn't willing to reciprocate. Focus on yourself. Make yourself happy for once. We can't find our value in other people. Lend OP some advice in the comments below. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We'd hate for you to miss out. Oh, and if you want to listen to me tell more stories, check out our lounge where I feature a larger variety of non-cheating related stories. See you there.